Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin and I'm the president of the Imagine America Foundation. We are located in the Northern Virginia area. Joining me for today's session of Imagine America Radio is my foundation colleague, Lee Doubleday. Lee and I are very excited about today's topic, automotive technology, sponsored by Universal Technical Institutes, or UTI. UTI is the country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education at 12 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 20-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 15,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries or questions about the Imagine America Foundation to our website, www.imagine-america.org, or you can call or email Lee or myself at the numbers or emails listed on our website.
Automotive technology careers are some of the most popular programs in career colleges. Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified automotive technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Universal Technical Institute. And joining us today to discuss in detail the looming automotive technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background.
Before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me go through today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum with questions and answers included. Once we finish these remarks, we move directly into today's presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the chat feature in the Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, or approximately 2:25 p.m., we will then present any questions offered by any and all the participants. We will address as many questions as possible and provide written responses to these and any others that we're unable to answer. We will have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. So without taking any time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle, welcome, and please take the podium.
Well, thank you all for visiting with us this afternoon. I appreciate your time. Let's just get right to the presentation. Our agenda today is threefold. First of all, we'll look at challenges facing the workforce. We'll follow that up with opportunities in the transportation industry. And finally, Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. I always like to start with the changing workforce because it's changed dramatically from the 20th century to the 21st century. As you can see on the screen, the 20th century was very much an agricultural manufacturing economy. That's changed quite a bit now in the 21st century. We can see that we've gone almost totally service. That probably is not a surprise to any of you when you think about if you own a house, if you own a car, if you own a washing machine, you know how difficult it is to find someone who can work on your equipment, and let alone somebody that's qualified. It's just very difficult to find those people. You'll probably also notice that agriculture went from 41% to 2%. You say, wow, we're running out of food, and that's not the case at all. We're actually feeding more people with that 2% than we were with the 41%. But it also lends to how much technology has taken over our world, and that also relates then to the service field as well. In a survey done in 2016, there were 150,000 students that were asked, how many of you would like a skilled trade career? And you can see a whopping 3% said, yeah, sign me up, this is what I want to do. But that same group then was asked how many would like a STEM career, and over 45% said, yes, this is what I want to do, this sounds great. So you can see there's the disconnect. Students do not see the connection between skilled trades and STEM. Unfortunately, there's many educators out there who feel the same way. they tend to think of STEM as white collar and not blue collar. And really STEM is all around us in all different fields. To show you the growth difference, STEM jobs will grow by 13%, in the next 6 to 7 years. All other jobs will grow about 9%. So you can see STEM jobs are definitely on a faster rise. But what's more alarming is the money that can be made. You can see it's over double the STEM jobs of what they pay hourly than what non-STEM jobs will pay. And we can follow that up then by looking at median incomes, for annual salaries, and you can see well over half, or well over twice as much of the income from non-STEM jobs can be made in STEM jobs. So it's a startling difference in the income possibilities in STEM careers versus non-STEM careers. Almost 21% of the jobs in this country right now require a bachelor's degree for entry. Just barely over a fifth of the jobs require a bachelor's degree. And the other alarming thing is that you look at the number of college graduates that go into occupations that don't require a college degree. And on top of that, we have a lot of college graduates who didn't even need the college degree. So you look at this and you think, wow, they have the college degree, and there's nothing wrong with that. But think of the time, the energy, and the expense that they went through to get that degree. It's kind of sad to think that they were, that they weren't coached better in career pathways, which is what we strive to do a better job of today. I speak a lot about the old smart versus the new smart. And people say, well, what do you mean by the old smart? Well, the old smart was simply get into the best school you possibly can. That's what everybody said. Boy, you just got to get into the best school. Everybody is sending out those college applications, trying to get into the best schools. And then you try to decide what it is you want to do. Oftentimes, students go to college not even really knowing what they're going to major in. Now many do, but there's a lot that don't. And so then when we do figure out what we're going to major in, and that's probably after 2 or 3 major changes, then we get that degree. We walk out the door with our degree in hand and say, here I am, world, hire me. It just isn't working anymore. Back in the day, I guess maybe it did, but it just is not anymore. You also might look at that and you think, that's ridiculous. Nobody thinks that way anymore. Well, you look at the college admissions scandal that we just, I think it's finally come to an end. The last people were convicted. And, those parents were trying to buy their sons and daughters' way into school so they could attend these prestigious schools that we were just talking about. What's ironic about it is many of the students didn't even want to go, but it was that important to their parents that they go to a prestigious school. So you say, this is ridiculous, but it still goes on today. So then we move to the new smart. So what is the difference? Well, the biggest difference is we ask the student, what do you want to do? We ask all little kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? We need to be asking that to our high school kids. What do you want to be when you grow up? So that's the first thing we want to do. Find what are they good at? What do they really enjoy doing? Then the next step in that is, what can they do with that? And what kind of training do they need for it? They may not need a bachelor's degree. They may not even need an associate's degree. They may just need a competency-based credential or a diploma, some certificate of some type. Or they might need a master's degree. So it depends on what they want to do, what they want to be. But we just have to focus on that first. Then after we find out what do they want to do, and then we find out what education they're going to need, then we pick the school that they need. So they don't necessarily need, the so-called prestigious schools. They just may need the local school somewhere. They may just need a trade school, something on those lines. So that's the difference now between the old smart and the new smart. And we need to keep thinking in the way of the new smart. The rule of 1, 2, 7, I talk about a lot to educators across the country. If you total 1, 2, and 7 together, you get 10, obviously. So for every 10 careers that are out there today, right now, only 1 out of 10 requires an advanced degree, like a master's degree or maybe a doctorate or something on those lines. 2 of the 10 require a bachelor's degree. 7 out of 10 of the careers that are available and are in demand today only require an associate's degree or competency-based credentials, maybe a diploma, a certificate, something like that. That's it. 7 out of 10. Yet, we are pushing students into college at a 70% clip. Excuse me. So you can see that we're doing just the opposite of what we should be doing. The economy is dictating to us that they need skilled labor, but we're not following that up with the education that needs to be there to support that. You know, we must educate the parents and the students and the educators as well. You know, that skilled trades and STEM are one and the same. They do go hand in hand. We also, and I talk about this a lot, is we've got to stop this mentality of university for all. It just isn't working. You know, you have many students in your school that you know are not college material. They're not going to go on to college or the university like that. They don't want that. They want something different. But we put such pressure on them and we set them up to fail by saying, well, you need to go to college. You got to go to the local university like that. And it's setting them up for failure. What we have to remember is what are employers really looking for? They're looking for competency-based credentials. What can you do? What can you bring to the table to help this company or this organization, whatever the case may be? Okay, the second part of our agenda is opportunities in the transportation industry. Vehicles today, no matter what it is, if it's a car, a truck, a boat, a motorcycle, ATV, it doesn't matter. Everything today is a rolling computer. The technology in these machines is unbelievable. But, you know, we say that, we say, oh, all these little toys, but these toys are life-saving. You know, you think of like on vehicles today, we have things like the blind spot indicators. We've all been caught in that one. We start to pull back over and somebody honks at us and go, wow, where'd they come from? But with blind spot indicators, that's not an issue. Or the rain sensing wipers, you know, they come on, you know, we don't even have to turn them on. They come on their own. Backup cameras. I wonder how many lives have been changed with the backup cameras. We've all heard horror stories of people, you know, backing over children, sometimes their own children, you know, because they couldn't see them. With backup cameras, that's almost virtually eliminated that. We can go on, but the bottom line is, while this technology is here, the problem is who's going to work on it. You know, I read an article that they're having trouble now with farmers buying new farm equipment. They don't want it because it's so high tech, they can't fix it. And they can't find techs to fix it. They can't afford to have their crops in the field. You know, they need to get them out of the field or get them into the field. They got to move now. They can't wait. And they're worried that they're going to have technicians to work on this equipment. So they're trying to buy older equipment that they can work on themselves. That's a shame because now they're losing out on all that great technology that's out there that would increase their yields, you know, their bushels per acre. It's too bad. So that's why it's more important, again, to train technicians to work on these things. Over 1.3 billion vehicles on the road worldwide, 273 million of those right here in the United States. And as you can see, we're expecting job openings to exceed 1.1 million by 2028. That's not very far away. And we're talking about a little over 7 years. You know, it's here. And we've got to fill this skills gap. And unfortunately, we're not. It continues to widen, and that's concerning to us. And then finally, the third part of our agenda, Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. is UTI? Well, we are the leading provider of technicians in the country. We have 12 campuses nationwide, so we definitely have that national presence. We employ over 4 out of 5 of our graduates into their chosen field. No, McDonald's doesn't count. We mean in their chosen field. We have over 220,000 graduates, and that number continues to rise. We're putting a lot of graduates out there, but we're not putting enough in there. We've got to fill this void, and we've been at it for 55 years now. We train in 8 different areas: auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. So very much the skilled trades is what we train in. When we meet with a student, we talk to them about all these opportunities that they have. And what you don't see on this page are all of the other opportunities that go along with this. For instance, a service writer. A service writer doesn't necessarily turn a wrench. They're the ones talking to the customer to begin with. Or an insurance appraiser. Insurance companies love our graduates because they know the vehicles inside and out, so they're better appraisers, when there's, accidents happen, things of this type. So there's a wealth of occupations within these occupations. So we try to make the students aware of what's available to them. We very much are industry aligned and use the industry aligned technology. We have the online classroom time. We before the pandemic, we were a blended learning school anyway. We've had to change it a little bit now with the pandemic, but still, we're alive and well. We're doing very, very well there. But the online classroom, that aligns with the dealerships because that's what they do. They can't afford to send their technicians off for training any longer. That's downtime, that's hours lost, that's money lost. They can't afford that any longer. So they do online. So that's what we do to get them prepared for the dealership. And then we combine that with the hands-on. So they get their online, really, they could do that at home or in their apartment or whatever. And then they come to our class, our school to get the lab work in. So they get that hands-on training, learning by doing, because that's what these kids really love to do. But the online part is necessary for them to do that. Our education model is very simple. We teach competency-based credentials. And so we work with students. They take one class at a time for 3 weeks solid. That's all they're going to do. They're just going to do breaks for that 3 weeks or whatever the case may be. When they prove competency in that area, then they move on to the next area. So that's our education model, and it also serves us well. As I said before, we've had to change a little bit. Through CDC guidelines, we've had to make our labs more compliant. So we've done that by assigning doors where students go in and out. We do temperature checks with all of our students and employees, face coverings. We've reduced the lab sizes now to meet the CDC standards. We require 6-foot separation for the social distancing. We make students wash their hands often. We clean and disinfect continually in our labs and areas. And then we offer phone support, so that we have less hands-on, to keep it a safer environment. And we're doing a pretty good job of this right now because we have to, but all we've had to do was adapt a little bit what we were already doing in the first place. Our presentations that we're offering students now and educators, we've got the virtual platform all set up, as well as, there's some schools that are meeting face-to-face, and if we can get into those schools, that's great. But unfortunately, we know many of you, we can't get in face-to-face. So we offer a variety of virtual presentations. You can take a virtual tour of one of our campuses, and it's scary how good it is. So clear. I mean, it's just like you're there. We put in a lot of time and effort to get these prepared so that we can continue educating educators and enrolling future technicians. You have to remember, this is an essential industry. It didn't go away with the pandemic. In fact, it did just the opposite. The need for technicians is greater than ever. So that's why we have to keep producing future technicians to fill that void. We have a national presence. As I told you, we have campuses all over the country. That's important for 2 reasons. Number one, be very hard pressed for you to walk into a dealership and say UTI and they wouldn't know who we are. And number two, by having that national presence, if a student wants to go to school in one part of the country and work in a different part, they can do that because of our national presence. So it's a win-win. Our industry partners, we have over 35 industry relationships with the big dogs in the industry, as you can see on the screen. As I say often, we're not preparing students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing students to go to work for Nissan, Ford, BMW, Lexus, these companies, because they are good careers and well-paying careers. We talk a lot about our graduates and the success stories that they have. You can see these three students on here, former students, I should say, and they've got a couple of things in common. Number one, you see the smiles on their face because they're doing what they love to do. So they're very happy. You've heard it often, you know, when you do what you love to do, you never work a day in your life. And I'd say these three would probably tell you that. But they also have something else in common. They worked hard to get there. UTI is not easy. You know, we push our students. We want them to be the best out there. We want them prepared for the industry. So when they graduate from our school, they can expect that they're going to get into the industry and will fit right in to that dealership or wherever it is that they go. So we work very hard to make sure that that happens for these students. You know, we offer grants, scholarships, and loans to help students to make their education affordable. We have over 15 million. I think that's now over $16 million in scholarships that are made available. We are Title IV funded. So what that means is that we have students fill out a FAFSA to see if they qualify for financial aid, and then we make available scholarships to them, housing grants, institutional grants, third-party programs, anything to help them to get to where they want to be. But what I think we're most proud of is our TRIP employers. We have over 4,500 TRIP employers. That's tuition reimbursement incentive programs, where these dealerships like the Penske Auto Group, Auto Nation, just to name a couple, and there's many across here, they actually offer our graduates a package upon graduation where they will help them pay off their student loans. They give them an extra check on top of their paycheck to be able to be used for the student loan payment or relocation, wherever they want to use it for. This has proven to be very good for us. I don't know about you, but we have a difficulty sometimes getting students to fill out scholarships. But the TRIP employers, that's on the back end. That's where they work their way. It's something for them it's a goal for them to reach. And we're finding out that they really like this. It really fits them well. So we're very excited about that program. I'm a retired educator. I know what you guys do every day. I know the importance of counselors with these students and the things that you pass on to them. What do we want to do? We want to partner with you. We want to help you any way we possibly can. And so that's what we try to do. We offer the virtual and the in-person presentations. We host your students at open houses. We share the career pathways and not just for UTI, but for all types of career pathways. And we talk about our scholarships and the opportunities that we have available for students. We're just trying to support what you're doing anyway. Find us online. We're social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, uti.edu. And then, of course, you see our television commercials as well, too. And then finally, here's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me. That's my phone. That's my email address. I would love to visit with you if you have questions or comments for me. I would love to hear from you. I can't thank you again, or I can't thank you enough for taking time out to spend a little time with me today. I hope you picked up something from the presentation. Hope you enjoy your evening. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Coyle. We will now open the session up to question and answers. We do have one question that comes to us from the Phoenix area. It wants to know if we wanted to speak with one of the UTI's local reps, should we go to the UTI website or contact you directly?
Either way will work. You can go to the UTI website. You will find information about that particular campus that you're looking at because you can find the location. You can make an inquiry and they will direct you to where you need to be. Or you can just contact me and I can help you with that process. I just had that happen yesterday. where a counselor reached out to me, and I got them in touch with the proper rep and got them set up there. And also on our website, you can find a variety of things. Like for instance, in the Arizona area, we're participating with the Arizona College Consortium, their 2020 virtual conference and college fairs this year. And so on September 19th, we'll be taking part in that. Also on October 27th and November 17th. So you'll find things like that on our website too.
Hey, Dr. Coyle, this is Bob again. The second question really gets to something we talk about each and every time. It has to do with comparisons, cost comparisons in programs and program length comparisons. Could you talk about that a little bit between UTI and a community college and or what you would call a junior college?
Absolutely. I get this question all the time. I talk to educators about three letters, ROI, the return on the investment. When you look just at, I have to look at the total picture. If you just look at tuition, you're going to say, wow, UTI is higher than community colleges, so I probably should go there. You're right. They are higher. UTI is higher than community colleges, but that's just on the surface. What you have to remember is you're going to be at UTI, approximately a year. You're going to be at the community college 2 to 3 years. So you're going to have expense built up there while you're working coming out of UTI. I mean, we have many of our graduates are out working at the age of 19. And so that is an equalizer. Another equalizer we have is our trip employment opportunities, because these dealerships will actually help students to pay off their student loans so that they don't have the debt to worry about. And so when you look at the total package, we're very comparable to community colleges.
Dr. Coyle, before we go into the closing of the remarks, why don't you restate the upcoming event very quickly, your Arizona Counselors Association, or whatever what you just mentioned, please.
Yeah, we have normally they do these, of course, in person, and it's the Arizona College Consortium, their 2020 virtual conference and college fairs, and UTI is going to be taking part in those. And the first one's coming up on September 19th. It will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then we'll also take part in the ones on October 27th and November 17th. All this is listed on our website, so you can reach that. And we hope to see some of your students there.
We'll make sure that we get a link and we get that sent out in the materials after this session is over. Before closing, let me just restate a few housekeeping matters for our audience. First, the Manage America Foundation will compile and forward a set of follow-up questions related to this particular presentation. We'll send it out to all the registrants. Second, the foundation has recorded this session and will be recording it and sending it out to all the registrants. IAF will place this session on our website, www.imagine-america.org, with download instructions. So if you want to go back and listen again to what Dr. Coyle was talking about, you'll have the ability to do that. And then finally, we're going to be conducting a follow-up survey with you and your peers, the counselors, to see if there's other topics or issues that we should be addressing. I would like to really thank, if I would, each and every one of the participants, the guidance counselors, school counselors that are out there taking time out of their very, very, very busy and hectic schedules. I would urge you to think about